Many of you guys asked me for this one, and I'm glad to finally bring this to you. We are looking at SolydXK. This is a Debian-based distribution based on Xfce, the testing branch. We're going to look at that right now on Spatry's Cup of Linux. Let's start with SolydK. The thing I love about KDE is the fact that every release just keeps getting better and better. Now, many of you may or may not know that I use a lot of KDE components in my Xfce desktop. Why? Because a lot of the components and programs that are made for KDE cooperate nicely, but some of their applications are the best of the best of the best out of many applications that are available to the Linux platform. So it's a good reason why I choose to employ many portions of KDE in the system. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is based on Debian's testing branch called Xfce, and this other has other nice features that you don't normally see in a Debian-based distribution, which is an added plus, and it should be refreshing to a number of you who want to have a Debian-based distribution that is complete. And this SolydK side of it is a complete desktop. So if you're just the type of person who wants to surf the internet, maybe edit some office documents or bring some of your work home, this is a complete system just for you. Plus it has some added bonuses, as we'll see. Okay, first, let's have a tour of the desktop real quick, and then I'll get into the applications that you get with this. There's a toolbox on the upper right corner, and if you click on that, you have the opportunity to add a panel. You can add widgets or activities. You can modify your shortcut settings, your default desktop settings, and of course you can lock those widgets in place so that they're difficult to move around once you have everything customized the way you want it. And then of course a lock screen, or you can just leave the system. Now, on the bottom right of the screen here, you will see that you can add things or remove things from your panel. You also have a calendar and a notification area for any upcoming events you may have set up here. You also have notifications, a message indicator, a battery monitor. You have a networking interface. You have Bluetooth or any connected devices through the USB, a volume control, and a clipboard manager. On the lower left, you have a quick launch to the Dolphin File Manager. And I happen to like the Dolphin File Manager in that it is so customizable, and I actually used to use this as my photo manager when I was running Arch Linux with an Xfce desktop, and I chose to incorporate Dolphin into it, and it's very nice in how you can, customize your, your icons and that sort of thing. Great for managing thumbnails and images and that sort of thing. So I mean, this can serve multiple applications as one, and there are just so many little things that you can do with the Dolphin File Manager. You can also collapse all folders and show the desktop. And then of course you have your KDE launcher. Now, this launcher menu, personally not one of my favorites, but the thing is, it may be great for a lot of you out there who want to be able to search for things, for instance, and for instance, I just typed in fire, and then Firefox web browser comes up, and we'll get to that in a moment. So you can search for things, and then also had a firewall settings here as well. I'm going to right-click on this and select the classic menu style so I can give you a better rundown of the applications that you get with this. Okay, so we'll start off with games. The options it gives you is Play on Linux, and Steam. Steam is our client for getting a lot of really cool games on Linux, including a few AAA titles. And of course, Play on Linux. Great for those of you who need to get those Windows applications and games running. Not everything will run, but I do have a video that is coming up in the mix where I will speak on different ways that you can find out if you can get those applications and games working, and some of the steps you will need to take. So you'll want to keep an eye out for that one. That, or just search my playlists, and you should be able to find some more details on using Wine. Graphics, you get a plethora of tools here to work with. You get a program for acquiring images, Digicam. My mother happens to use this program on her Xfce desktop. Great for managing all your photos. You get a DNG image converter, exposure blending. You get the GIMP, GwenView, and a bunch of other little applications here. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to go through all of them, but you get the idea. This is a comprehensive suite, and the nice thing about this is great for most of you who just do everyday tasks and want to have a system that is ready to go, ready to use, out of the box. Okay, so in Internet, you get Blue Devil for Bluetooth. You get Firefox web browser. Normally, Debian-based distributions ship with Iceweasel for, I guess, for legal reasons, or it is my understanding that Debian's team actually works on the Iceweasel browser, which is an unbranded Firefox. But many of you wanted to be able to get Firefox and Thunderbird working on a Debian distribution. This has it here all ready for you. And of course, you get the Conqueror web browser, which is similar, or what I believe to possess similar characteristics to the Internet Explorer browsing experience. At least that's how I felt about it several years ago. I don't know if it's changed because I really haven't had need to use that. Okay, and then of course you get a number of other internet tools here as well. An internet dial-up tool. Who uses dial-up these days? But it's here in case you need it. Not much in terms of the multimedia arena. I am surprised this didn't ship with KDE Live, because KDE Live is the bomb, you know, for video editing, and it is by far one of the best video editors for Linux. So I'm surprised it didn't come with this, but you still get a bunch of other really fantastic tools with this. Amarok for managing your audio. K3B is one of the best disk burners for GNU Linux. You get KMix and VLC Media Player. And of course, the full LibreOffice suite. Along with an address book, you also get Ocular's Document Viewer, which should open up most common documents that are out there today. Alright, and in system settings, you get a device manager, you get Gparted, you get the OpenJDK Java policy tool. So, I mean, Java and everything that you need is already in this thing. How cool is that? So, and you also have access to your software manager, which of interest is the Mint Software Center. System settings and update manager, which is also the Mint update manager, I believe. A welcome screen. And of course, for those of you who are having trouble getting your Wi-Fi working, this comes with the Windows wireless drivers or NDIS wrapper, so that you can use an INT file and have it use that for connecting to the system. And of course, all the system tools you will need for getting the most out of the system, with the inclusion of the Debian Plymouth Manager. So you can change your splash screen with this if you wanted to. Really, customize it, make it your own. The Dolphin File Manager I already mentioned. You get the GW Package Installer, so you can just download a deb file and then launch it, and GTEBI will pick it up here. Lots of great tools in here. Superb indeed. And of course the Synaptic Package Manager. I usually use that for doing all of my updates and installing software, but individual taste may vary. So, there are many different ways of doing things. There's no one right way of doing things. You could do things in a terminal, or you could do it with a GUI. It's all here. It's all available, ready to roll for you. A number of utilities to get the most out of this system. It's got an archiving tool, so you'll be able, somebody sends you, you know, a zip or a RAR file in the email. This opens it out of the box. Why download and install anything? Okay, and of course a number of other applications, including backup tools. So you want to back up your system, it's all here. Nope, spending any money on additional software. Okay, and then of course you can find files and folders, and of course there is a help section here as well. Although usually when I need help, I'll usually jump onto the forums and ask my questions there, or even check and see if there's an IRC channel. Okay, now we're on the X side, and of course this is the Xforms Common Environment, or Xfce, and a lot of people say, well, I don't want to use Xfce, it looks too much like Windows 98. Who says it has to? Let me tell you what, folks, I had this on my virtual machine for a good month and a half, and I wanted to run this through the ropes and see if it really is solid, and let me tell you what, folks, this distribution lives up to its name. Now, we're also looking at this newer version in live CD mode because I wanted to demonstrate that even this one also has full support for VirtualBox. So great platform for testing and that sort of thing. And I just love the way they set this up. It even has a KDE look and feel, like from the mouse cursors to the actual theming of this desktop environment. On the bottom right corner of the screen, a volume control, the time, power indicator, and your internet connection. And as we move on to the left, you have access to your file manager, which is Thunar, and it looks very nice with the theming that they use. This is using the a KDE theme, and it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember what it's called right now. And then, of course, you can collapse all windows and show the desktop by clicking the icon here on the lower left. Then, of course, your menu, you get the new whisker menu. And let me tell you what, folks, this looks nice as well. Very elegant indeed. And this is a beautiful, lightweight operating system that you can build on top of. It just has the bare minimum things that you need, that you can just start piling on all your favorite applications. Okay, so they have a number of applications already in favorites for what they believe may be the applications you'll probably want to use most. But we'll get into all the applications here in a moment. This also shows files that you have recently used here, all of them, then settings. Okay, so in settings, you have your settings manager, or you can actually just go through all of these individually. In accessories, you get an application finder, you get the bulk renamer, Catfish, Clipman, calculator, GTK hash. Lots of stuff in here, all lightweight, ready for you to use. In graphics, you get a simple document viewer, you get the GIMP, Ristretto image viewer, Shotwell, Photo Manager, and Simple Scan. You'll notice this doesn't have quite as many applications as the KDE side, but they had lightweight in mind when they built this. Also, it is my understanding that when Solid made the X version, this was in response to Linux Mint no longer offering a Debian Xfce edition. So, for those of you who missed out on that, here you go. We've got another Debian-based distribution based on the Xfce testing branch. In Internet, just like the KDE version, in this version you also get Firefox, you get Mozilla Thunderbird, you get Pigeon for Internet transmission for all of your BitTorrent needs, and of course XChat IRC. In multimedia, a simple audio mixer, Exhale, for listening to your music, Pulse Audio, VLC, and XFburn, my personal favorite disk burner. I think it is just as does just as nice of a job as K3B, although K3B and the KDE end does offer more features than XFburn does. Okay, and then in Office, you don't get the full LibreOffice suite in this case. You just get a simple, you just get the simple Abby Word, which is just a simple word composer, a dictionary, the document viewer, GNU Merrick for those of you who need to edit a few spreadsheets, Orage Calendar, and Orage Global Time. Those always ship with Xfce desktops, so they're there by default. And then, of course, some tools here to get the most out of the system. So all in all, very nice lightweight setup. I really like how they made this look. A lot of thought went into this, and during the month and a half that I did have this on my virtual box install, I let updates go through, and I really didn't run into any issues with this. So I would have to say that SolydX definitely lives up to its name, and I would have every reason to expect that the KDE version would as well. Though I'm not really a KDE user, I like some components of KDE. I just don't choose to use its whole desktop. So, all in all, very pleased to see this. Very nice to see a decent Debian-based distribution coming up in a world where we're just getting inundated with way too many Ubuntu-based distributions. So very nicely put together. I think the Solid team put together a wonderful distribution, a great contribution to the community. So if you think this is something you might like, you may want to consider checking these out.